So I'm just going to add a little bit of red. So my first language, as I said, I'm from Sudan, so my first language is Arabic, and I really like to write in Arabic. I don't usually write anything meaningful. It's just like it's ripe bananas, so I'm just gonna write ripe bananas in Arabic, or moz mustawi. Let me put it here. The sketching. So welcome to a new video. In this video we're going to sketch something that is fairly simple and for me it's super fun, which is sketching bananas. I really like sketching them. They're really easy to do and you can have a lot of fun with it, especially that you're not trying to figure out how to sketch them, how to draw them, and you can just use whatever material that you have. You can either sketch with me or just watch and maybe sketch later. And I hope you enjoy this sketching session as much as I did. I'll just start by sketching the way that I usually do. Usually I like to swatch as I'm working. So these are some art graphs that I bought a while ago in Toronto. I moved now to the UK. Anyway, so I like to swatch the things that I think I want to work with. I think I'm going to start with my favorite thing to sketch, which is bananas, because if you've noticed that I've been sketching a lot of bananas, and the reason why I like to sketch them is because there's something that is really fun to sketch. And they have a very comic look. So I'm going to use the art graph, which is actually one of my favorite materials. You can see mine is a little bit dirty because I just put it in my pastel box. But it's something that is I enjoy to sketch with because it has this beautiful texture when it's dry, and also when I wet it with water, it has this really rich color, this beautiful rich color. And the way that I like to paint, I can even go on this page over here. Obviously it's a little bit dirty, maybe the brush is a little bit dirty, but to be honest, when I'm sketching, like, I really don't care about this kind of things. I have a towel here that can maybe clean it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do, it has a bit of a greenish tint, probably because of the previous color, but I just like to just paint really quickly and maybe do another banana here. So the idea of me sketching is just to really have fun and to enjoy, like, myself, because I like to look back and feel like this looks like fun. And for something I feel like to look like fun, I need to have had fun while I was sketching it. So I don't have to do the whole thing. Where is the brush I was working on? I think this one. So with the remaining water, I'll just, and I don't have to fill it all in. And usually I actually enjoy having some white areas like that, and even have the brush a little bit dry, so it can give me this nice texture. And I can play with it and just sketch outside of the line, because I like things to be a little bit loose, not very tight. So here's another banana, let's say, and I'm gonna make another one over here. Try different strokes, and I feel there is, like, you can feel the movement in the lines and the mark making that you do. If you're sketching with me, or if you are planning to sketch after this, this might be a good video for you. And I like doing all these texture things. That's why I actually usually like using brushes that are a little bit frayed and a little bit old. I recently moved to the UK, so most of my brushes are relatively new. But I'm hoping with time I'm going to have more texture, and I'm going to have things that look more like fun. I can just take some of the paint over here and just use it to start another one here. And this is why I like this process, because it's just like the enjoyment of the paint, the enjoyment of the mark making, just kind of letting the paint and the brush kind of show me their character, you know. All right, then I'll let this dry a little bit. Sometimes I fill the background, sometimes I don't. Sometimes, or most of the time, honestly, especially with bananas, I feel like they really look nice with white background, because the white background gives this negative space kind of feeling. So I'll let this dry a little bit. Usually I just go to another sketchbook. The thing is, I think I ran out of sketchbooks because I filled 2 of my sketchbooks and I didn't buy another one. So I'll just wait for this to dry. And okay, so now it's dried a little bit. What I like to do with bananas is that I always like to use some red. I just bought this blue because I keep running out of blue. Like, I used up most of my blue colors. I might use this one. I love charcoal, so I'm going to use it too. And let's see if we layer some other yellows and see how they turn out. Okay, so a lot of the times I just like to start just by having some loose lines, some loose scribbles. I don't usually worry about if they're outside the lines, if they're inside the paint. Alright, let's try some blue. This is a new one that I bought. So, sometimes it's much more fun when you hold it in a different way, because it creates a nicer texture. Okay, so I put the outline with the blue. Let me try doing the outline with the charcoal. Charcoal is one of my favorite tools. I keep running out of charcoal pencils. It's very dark and beautiful and just has this really beautiful character. Like, look at this. Okay. Let's try something here. Maybe some yellow. Yeah, I like how this yellow works with this acrylic, or no, art graph, I guess. Honestly, this is so much fun to do that that's why I'm not really talking. All right. Then one of my favorite things, because I do like to do some ripe bananas. So one of my favorite things to do is to put the dots of the bananas, but I like to make them into some kind of pattern. So instead of just having dots, or maybe let's try dots. It's not bad, but I like to make them like they're lines or something. And just try to have fun with the pattern, as in not making them all look the same, but just it's kind of a little bit meditative. Sometimes I try to change the angle to see if it turns out looking a little bit more fun. And change the pressure. Sometimes it's good to stop and see whether I like it or not. And sometimes it's just nice to just keep going and just take a look at the very end. What I like about this process that there's no like right or wrong. It's just a person enjoying their own sketchbook. Usually you wouldn't share it on YouTube, but here I am. So when you don't share it with other people, or actually when I kind of started my sketchbook, which I think a lot of people can relate to that, or a lot of people start like that, is that you feel a little bit kind of self-conscious about your sketchbook because you don't know what you're doing, and you know, it just becomes, or my sketching sessions and my sketchbook was a very private thing and a very personal thing, like I wouldn't share it with other people. And I remember the first time that I started to sketch in public, I was doing this art show, and art shows are nice, but sometimes they're a little bit slow, so you're just staying there for 8 hours. Because if you don't know, or I don't think that I shared this on my YouTube channel, so I'm a ceramic artist. I do something similar or sometimes a bit different of my sketchbooks with my ceramics. And so part of what I was doing is doing some art shows to sell my work. And I remember feeling really bored of like staying for the whole show and not doing anything. So I brought my sketchbook with me, and that was the first time that I actually sketched in public. But because I was so enjoying it, so I didn't mind people looking at me, or I didn't care if they thought that it didn't look good. But it was nice that a lot of people had this really nice feel, like they just like seeing someone doing something that they enjoy. And that experience just made me feel a little bit more brave with my sketching, or to be brave with sketching elsewhere. So I started to sketch in parks, I started to sketch everywhere, really, instead of just being confined to my apartment. Okay, so I just finished this one. I'm not sure, let's do this, and then I'm thinking maybe go with the outline with black to see how it looks. Again, just trying things out. So anyways, so I started to sketch more, or having people's feedback, like seeing even like my sketchbook. Then I started to do a series of ceramics that is inspired by my sketchbooks, because the ceramics that I used to do before was inspired by my culture. I'm from Sudan, so my first series was inspired by Sudanese female singers that they sing songs accompanied by a Sudanese drum called a deluka. So it was a completely different, it's a little bit tight kind of drawing. So when I started working on my sketchbooks, that actually somehow changed my ceramics a little bit. Like I started this series of ceramics that was inspired by my sketchbooks. Like the lines were completely different than the first series. The first series was all black and white. The one that is inspired by my sketchbook is as colorful as my sketchbook, and also like the lines were more loose and they were more vibrant, and I really had fun with that. So it was nice to just see my sketchbook kind of influence my ceramic making. and kind of breathing more life into my work and my pieces. So in one of the art shows, I actually started to share my sketchbook, or to actually bring like my sketchbook and open it and let people kind of flip through it. So I would have it open and I would have my ceramics that are part of the sketchbook series around it, and people like could immediately see the connection between my sketchbook and my ceramics, and people just loved, like, I guess like the bravery of someone sharing a very messy sketchbook and seeing like the first idea, because sometimes I feel like people like to know where the idea kind of came from, or they see the process or behind the scenes or something like that. So it was great. Like it kind of started a lot of conversations. Again, because art shows, I feel like they are a very good place to like to have conversations or connections with your audience. The more I can show them more about my process or my thought process, the more I feel people can connect to what I'm doing. So yeah, so the sketch kind of series went really nice, because I was basically sketching anything on ceramics, like cats, like my cat Gavin. I had a black cat in Toronto, so I was sketching him a lot. I did a lot of bananas. The bananas were sold immediately, the cats were sold immediately. So it was beautiful to see, even though it was not planned, like I didn't start my sketchbook to make ceramics or to sell my ceramics, but it somehow happened. And sometimes when you do something organically, it works better. I cannot wait to start again with the sketched ceramics. I just recently moved to the United Kingdom, and I'm yet to buy my materials. I'm still kind of setting up my ceramic studio, so I'm yet to buy my colors. And also I'm planning to go back to Toronto to bring like the rest of my ceramic paint. Sometimes I forget that I'm filming and I just become quiet, because you just, even though like what I'm doing is repetitive and it looks boring probably, but I'm weirdly enjoying it. And look at all the texture that a charcoal brings. I keep going through these look at paint everywhere. I keep going through these charcoal pencils very fast. I feel like every month I just go and grab one. I feel like this is the easiest kind of charcoal to use, because it's just in a pencil form. Even though it's a lot more fun to have the sticks, but it's sometimes a bit too messy. But I think charcoal is one of my favorite sketching tools. I don't know what to call these. Like, are they sketching tools? Are they tools or art supplies? Like, what do you call it? Clearly English is not my first language. Alright, so now that I have these two, maybe I'm gonna sharpen the charcoal a little bit. Alright, so I want to try to have over this. Let's see if I like it. And maybe a darker blue here, because the charcoal I feel kind of overpowered the other colors, so I need more definition on the outline. Alright, let's bring back some bright blue. Alright, I probably should have started at the top because charcoal really smudges things, but I don't mind that much. Sometimes I do use some spray as a fixative, so I don't have it all over myself. And most times I don't care, but yep, perfect. Alright, so now what I want to do is do the opposite. Basically, do it with the blue and see. I think I like the blue because some of them are faint as well. That gives a nice variation. I think with this banana, I think I'm gonna try to have more kind of variation with it. Yeah, I think I'm liking the blue. It just looks funny. Like, this is why I just really like doing this over and over again. I should probably challenge myself and find other things to sketch and trying to make them look funny. Fun and funny, actually. I probably should have shared with you what kind of... This is the Derwent Intense. It has beautiful intense color. But yeah, I don't usually buy by brand. Like, I sometimes have Faber-Castell, sometimes Derwent. Sometimes there's another brand that I really love, Prisma. Prisma has beautiful colored pencils, but I usually use based on, or choose based on the colors, like whatever color. Like, I usually like a very bright blue and also a dark one. This is Faber-Castell. I use like a lot of it. Sometimes I use much lighter. Like, these are beautiful. Like, I'm looking for a similar color. I bought it in Toronto. Yeah, I do like the blues. Like, if you can see, most of my finished colored pencils are blue. I just love when the color has texture like this. And what I like about it is very creamy, so it just glides a little bit more. Alright, so this one is done. I think I like it. Let's try to do charcoal on charcoal here. Oops. I feel like I'm putting too much pressure on this. It's breaking off. But I like that when it breaks off, it's just like not very even, so it gives this nice texture. I guess by now you know that I really like texture and messiness. I'm going to link the channel of Sandy Hester. I'm assuming if you found my video, you probably already know her, but maybe not, I don't know. So I'm going to link her. Look at this different texture here. So I'm gonna link her down below, and I'm quite sure that you're really going to enjoy her content. She has beautiful loose sketchbooks, drawings, paintings. She also has classes. I bought her acrylic course and her bird course. I'm yet to do more practice with birds because birds is something that I really like to draw more of. And she has other courses. She has sketching on nature or taking notes in nature. I don't think I bought this one yet. I'm waiting until I practice the other courses more. I'm not the best student, you know, like I'm not very good at watching someone. Like, I much prefer sometimes just improvising. And even though I really like Sandy, sometimes I just find it hard to follow instructions. but I'm definitely gonna give her courses another go and practice more, because I just like kind of watching her do it, and sometimes like practicing the anatomy of the bird and measuring the peak versus this or that. Sometimes I find it a little bit, or feels a little bit foreign to me. Okay, here we go. All right, so I think what I want to do, all right, sometimes it's kind of nice to look back and just look at what you've done, and I try not to be self-deprecating, so I just see the areas that I liked, and again, I feel like since I know that I really had fun doing it, it's hard to like I don't want to say slam it, but to look down at my own work, because I feel like it's just a fun process. So I just feel like it looks like fun to me. It could look like rubbish to most people, but yeah, I quite like it. So I think what I want to do here is probably use some red ink, because I want to write, like I like to combine typography or written word or text with the sketching. I think it just brings out a more fun aspect. So I'm just going to add a little bit of red. Should probably shaking this up. I don't need that much, so I'm gonna use whatever brush I have here. So my first language, as I said, I'm from Sudan, so my first language is Arabic, and I really like to write in Arabic, like Arabic calligraphy. I'm not doing it in calligraphy, I'm just gonna do it in the way, like similar to the way that I sketch. So I don't usually write anything meaningful, it's just like it's ripe bananas, so I'm just gonna write ripe bananas in Arabic, or moz mustawi. I don't know if I left any space to write. Let me put it here. Yeah, I feel the writing, I like it to be as loose as the sketching. Alright, so I'm not sure what happened at the end of yesterday's session, but I think the camera either died or something happened. Anyways, today is the next day, and I just wanted to show you how the page kind of turned out, showing you the details of it. I hope that you sketched along with me, or planning to sketch. You're probably going to come with your different, or you're going to come up with your different styles, with different ways of doing it, maybe use different colors, different materials. And I hope that you enjoy doing it as much as I enjoy doing my bananas. I feel like it's really nice to kind of sit back and just look at it, look at the small details of it, the small scribbles, where the colors kind of overlay, where the colors end. Sometimes it's just nice to kind of look back and just see for yourself, like the areas that you liked, the areas that you feel like, oh, maybe I want to try this in a different way, and yeah, just move on to the next page, because I feel like the sketchbook is a place to just enjoy it and then move on to do another thing. So if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you share it with someone else. Maybe it will encourage them to sketch as well. If you would like, if you'd subscribe, I would really appreciate it. It's just much easier or much more enjoyable to share it with an audience, instead of feeling like I'm just talking to myself. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.